Hey, I'm Wally Adamczyk, and welcome to Construction Leadership from A to Z, 26 words to lead by. And today, the letter T, where we talk about timely, and this would be a good time for you to subscribe to this channel. In any event, how does a project get to be a year behind schedule? One day at a time. The words of Fred Brooks. Timely, occurring at a suitable time, seasonable, opportune, well-timed. The opposite would be late, tardy, or unpunctual. At some point in your life, you have heard that 5 minutes early is on time and on time is late. It isn't bad advice. The phrase, "the early bird catcheth the worm," was first recorded in John Ray's A Collection of English Proverbs in 1670. Early Hebrew and Babylonian texts admonish that cleanliness is next to godliness, but I've heard that saying morphed to timeliness is next to godliness. You get the idea. We're talking about something big here. You must be on time. The phrase "better late than never" is poor advice for anyone aspiring to leadership. Being late sends several bad messages to people. I don't respect you. You don't matter. I'm disorganized, and you cannot rely on me. None of those are very inspiring from a leadership perspective. It is tough to motivate followers when you're sending them the message that they don't matter and causing them to believe that you are not competent. Being punctual or on time is only part of this. Another part of it is knowing when to take action, when to make your move. This means leaders are savvy about timing and pick the right moment to take action. Have you ever walked into the office in the middle of the morning and asked, "Hey, is the boss in a good mood?" If you've done this, then you recognize the importance of timing. The 1916 short story Obvious Atoms shares 5 tests of obviousness, the 5th one being, is the time ripe? Sometimes the time has passed and you should let the idea go. Sometimes the time just isn't right yet, and you would do better to hold on to your idea. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote in his journal, one of the cardinal virtues is timeliness. He also said, the art of getting rich consists not in industry, much less in saving, but in a better order, in timeliness, in being at the right spot. I would add to Emerson, and taking action at the right spot. Consider Gorilla Glass as an idea that came before its time. A thin, flexible, and very strong glass product. It was invented in 1962 by Corning. Unfortunately, they could not find a viable use for it. So this wonderful product sat on the shelves for 4 decades. You probably use a lot of it now. One of the training programs we conduct at Firestarter revolves around time management and time mastery. We believe leaders must be outstanding and ruthless in their use of time. To be any less puts you at a competitive disadvantage in the fast-paced, overscheduled world we live in. We use an online assessment to help attendees understand their personal styles as they relate to various aspects of managing time. The assessment has 12 dimensions, with the final one being team time. Others are attitudes, planning, goal settling, handling interruptions, etc. There is one common theme across every group of managers who've taken the assessment. Every single group has ranked team time at the bottom of their list in importance. Team time is about changing the question from what should I be doing now to what is the best use of our time. This recognizes that top performance is a team effort requiring close synchronization of values and effort. When you're late to the meeting you called, you're in total ignorance of the concept of team time. When you don't get back to someone when you say you will, you're violating team time. This is a surefire way to tick people off and confirm a lack of leadership on your part. Broadcast journalists Jim Lehrer and Bernard Shaw, both former Marines, each attributed the discipline of time learned in the Corps to their success. Lenin and Stalin had people shot for being late. Okay, that might be a bit extreme, but you cannot stay on top of a situation if you're late. To me, one of the marks of a professional is to be on time. I cringe when we are running late as a family, and with 2 kids, that has happened. As a leader, it's simply not in my frame of reality to be late. Do circumstances arrive that causes that to happen? Yes, but they're few and far between. The more subtle but perhaps more important aspect of this trait is that sense of timing. Unfortunately, there's no formula to apply to develop this sense. Often we gain this over time by applying the lessons we learn and by understanding the people we're working with. Punctuality is the stern virtue of people of business and the graceful courtesy of princes. Edward G. Bulwer-Lytton. All right, let's jumpstart your timeliness here. Cut 20% of things from your to-do list. Use a calendar system. Read What Got You Here Won't Get You There. Complete a time log and analyze your day and week. That's a really good one. Completing a time log is one of the most humbling exercises you can do. And simply be on time. All right, let's do some timeliness in action. Let's see what this looks like and hear it from somebody in the industry. The very first project that I ever worked on was a $50 million new construction student housing project for an academic institution involving a new client. Besides the typical hurdles that accompany a project of that size, the project had been plagued by turnover at the highest level, including our construction manager and the architect. My project team and I had to hit the ground running in order to keep up with the project schedule, and it eliminated the typical pre-construction activities that are usually predecessors to a project of this size. While I wanted to start everything off on the right foot, being that this was my first real project and first real work experience, the thought of trying to accomplish everything was just overwhelming. Seeing that I was overwhelmed and trying to please everyone, my manager gave me one piece of advice. Just be on time. In this, he meant that I should not try to do everything at once, but should only meet my deadlines as they came. If I was going to miss a deadline, I needed to see that it got handled by somebody else, or let my boss know that we might miss the deadline. Keeping my manager's advice in mind, I only committed to what I knew I could accomplish, and it allowed me to prioritize my work in a way that allowed me to succeed as an individual and as a member of the team. During the 2 years that I was on the project, I was promoted to assistant project manager, and my team and I were able to successfully deliver a project that was on time and on budget, all due to the fact that everyone on the team knew their role and we could rely on one another to accomplish the project at hand in a timely manner. All right, let's do some A to Z application and see how you're doing here. Hopefully you got a journal and you're working through these questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself on being timely? Are you consistently on time for all events? List someone you know who exemplifies this trait and why did you put them there? On what things do you procrastinate and why? And as always, what one thing will you do to improve in this area? Well, there you have it. Timely in construction leadership from A to Z, 26 words to lead by. I hope that you'll subscribe and that I'll see you next time where we talk about the letter U. Take care.